Hey there everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't seen the last video in which I have told you why this channel has changed, what can you expect from it henceforth, you should definitely check that out. Hi, I'm Vaikari if you don't know me yet, and before I get into the video, I want to say that we have watched enough videos for today. I would highly urge you to put on headphones, keep this video playing somewhere on the desk and do something with your hands. It could be painting, it could be gardening, it could be something as simple as kneading dough. There's nothing fancy that is going to happen in this video except for what you listen. So don't watch, listen. And let's get into it. If you want a bit of context of why I'm making this video, since you don't know me as a person, when I was 23 years old, I quit my corporate job that I had got through college placements. I am a mechanical engineer from COEP, which is a good college from Maharashtra. I was placed in Tata Motors through campus placement, and that was my father's dream. Life seemed to be going great, but I wanted to try something else. I knew I always had this passion for this thing called personal styling, which was not even a word yet when I was in college. And the field that I'm in is just getting known for last 2 years. So when I quit 7 years ago, people thought I'm just throwing darts in the dark, which was not the case. Nonetheless, everyone was against it. Everyone eventually came around, but when I told them first, everyone was against it. Then life happened. I got married. I've been married for 3 years now. And then also came a point where you are constantly asked to do what is expected of you as someone in your late 20s. Could it be firstly getting married, it could be getting a house, it could be making babies, it could be all the other things, and also the success of your business. So let me just tell you that I have denied and defied every one of those things every step of the way, also because my life has been very different from most people's lives around me. Having been going through mental health struggles, there is also a huge deficit of energy and time which you need to be putting in a business to make it grow. And for the longest time, I tried proving it to people that it is all going great. But at some point, I realized that was not necessary. It was an expectation I had from me. It was not really necessary that my business has to be, reaching so and so digits by so and so year. That was just my expectation from me. And the amount of energy and time that my mental health has required me to put me in the last few years, it would be a miracle if I am in Shark Tank today. I just knew it was not going to happen with everything that is going on in my personal life. Also, once you are married or once you are in your late 20s, there are a lot of expectations out of you. There are timelines, and then there are these goals that you have to take. And then everyone keeps questioning you about them. And at some point, you have to draw your boundaries and let them know that this is my life. I will have it my own way. And so far, I have done it. I wouldn't want to share the personal details today, maybe some other time if I'm comfortable enough. What I'm trying to establish is that I have been opposed for the decisions that I'm making for my own life every step of the way. Eventually, people came around, but the first response or the first reaction was always, "Are you sure? This doesn't seem like the right choice. Have you thought this through? I don't think this is the right decision, but if you think that it's good for you, then okay." This, thankfully, the people that matter the most in my life, my husband and my father, have always supported me through every single thing. And I know that it would be extra struggle for me if I had to convince them as well. But when we are talking about other people and how their reactions could affect us, there are a few things I would like you to remember if other people's opinions are bothering you, to the extent also sometimes that they are influencing your choice for yourself. The first thing that I want to say is you and only you know your life. I know this sounds very bookish or very obvious. What I mean to say is, if you are in a corporate job right now and if you want to quit it, you see another person going to job every single day, and to them it may not be as difficult as it is for you. I remember going to my job every single day with a hopeless dread sometimes of why am I even doing this? And then dreading the discussion rooms and dreading somebody saying something very loudly and yelling and getting angry. I remember all of that. I also know that some of my other colleagues, including my husband, didn't mind that kind of behavior all that much because they could just block it out. They could ignore it. They didn't need to be bothered by that thing as much as I did. Another example I would like to tell you that when I took a break from work every year for months at a stretch, 2023 I was in depression, 2024 I was in severe existential identity crisis. I took a break of 3 months, and then 2025 again I took smaller breaks as I needed, but I was learning to refine being in a business without giving up. And it was not because business is not going well. The problem was my energy that I could allot to the business. Building a business is the hardest thing one can do career wise. And since I have done both, I've been in a corporate job and I am building a business, I can vouch for this. Building something of your own, building a business from scratch with no support or no experience in your family can be the hardest thing you will ever do. If there was somebody else in my place, they would have quit a long time ago. But I didn't, because I allowed myself those breaks, because I know how much I was struggling mentally, because I know what my life has been like so far, because I know that even after being in business for the 7 years, I couldn't allot all of those 7 years to the business. Maybe 3, 4, 5 of those years went into just me taking care of my personal things, my mental health, my physical health, which were not really the challenge for somebody else my age. And with this, I don't want to say that other people don't have challenges. What I want to say is they don't have the same challenges as me, just like you don't have the same challenges as me. So the only person that knows you, knows your struggle, knows your sensitivity, knows how much something hurts you or how much something you want is you. It's only you. To make it even simpler, I would like to equate it with spice tolerance. Not every person has the same spice tolerance, right? Somebody could eat a spicy gravy and be like, this is nothing, and somebody else would be just crying tears, right? It is the same. Only you know your life. Absolutely nobody does, which is why you should also not let anybody judge the decision that you are making for your own life. Second point, everything said and done, I know it is still difficult. People matter to you. So when they say something that goes entirely against what you believe in, or they say something that is invalidating, it hurts a lot. And previously, I have been in a position where I have considered ending that relation in itself because how unsupporting they have been. This especially happens with friendships, because when you have a friend who is the best of your friend and you think they should support you through everything, but sometimes they don't, and it hurts. But as I grew, I realized that it's not really their fault. I'm not saying that they should behave that way, or I'm not justifying that behavior. I think everyone should be kind and validating, but that is not really the truth. Let's be honest. People are not mature and people will react without thinking how it is going to affect you. But how you can deal with it is go through the decision without caring about that. Be hurt, stay hurt, go through it. And I am not saying make it as a revenge plan that I'll show them all. That is not a great way to look at it. What I'm saying is they are saying no for you choosing something because they think that's not a good choice, because they only know their life and they know that decision is not right for their life. The decision that you are making, they probably equate it to sadness or danger or loneliness or any other things like that, which is why they are trying to prevent you from making that decision. And there is some truth to it, but again, like I said, the negative effects of you making this decision could be much more huge for them than you. And it could just simply be that they are trying to protect you. I know it is difficult to be the understanding person and maintain those relationships despite knowing that they don't support you. So here I arrive to my third point: draw boundaries. When you want to maintain your relationships, especially friendships, and they cannot understand your life, and this happens all the time through your 20s, if that is the case, draw the boundaries on how many opinions you take from them. Be confident in your own decision first before presenting it to them. Be ready to also face some kind of backlash. And also, if you have worked out why you are doing this decision well enough, then you really don't have to convince anybody else. You just have to convince yourself. So my last point is just draw boundaries. Tell less information, or tell only after you're completely sure about the decision that you're making. Tell limited amount of people. And if somebody who is repeatedly unsupportive to you, despite realizing that the previous decisions that they didn't support came out to be good decisions for you, somebody who's refusing to take the accountability of them invalidating you before this, I wouldn't say cut them out, but do what you will with that. And since we are talking about it, you will lose a lot of friends if you are choosing a life that is different than others. A lot. But at the same time, this doesn't grant you to behave poorly to somebody or just presume that they are not going to understand and then cut off the relation there. I would say give them a chance. Give them multiple chances to prove that they also find this relationship as important as you do. And if after offering them all of those chances, they still value their opinion over what you think what is right for you, then it's time to say bye-bye. But having said that, there are so many people also around you who will stay. This has happened every single time, every step of the way in my life. Every time that I thought that being authentic, choosing what I want is going to get rid of people, but I had to choose it for myself anyway. I cannot live my life out of fear of losing people. But to my surprise, a lot of people ended up staying. They ended up changing their opinion about my life, and they just ended up accepting that whatever it is that you are deciding for your life is correct for you. And since I have already supported you all throughout this video, here's a disclaimer specifically for you. I am talking to anyone who is looking for a stamp of approval from somebody else is not the person that I am talking to in this video. I am talking to those who know the decisions that they make are right for themselves. If you are conflicted, if you are trying to get that decision validated from somebody else only to then believe that the decision was not really my own if it goes wrong, I'm sorry, but you are not the person I'm talking to. I want you to be so firm in your decision that you can relate to all of the things I have said before this. I know this may piss off some people, but even if it does, I do not in any way want to say that you can put the accountability of your decision making onto somebody else. You just cannot. And that's it. Be firm in your decision. Take accountability for whatever the consequences of the decision are going to be. And then you can demand the same from people. Not when you are confused, not when you are looking for an approval from somebody else, then only to go on about your life. No, not then. Only if you are sure and you are ready to face the consequences of the decision that you are making, then you are free to re-watch this video all over again if you wish to. And lastly, if you are the person that I'm talking to in this video, I want you to know that it will be worth it. Whatever you have to go through to stick to the decision, to be your own self, to be authentic to yourself, it will be worth it. I'm not saying there won't be hardships, there will be, but at the end of the day, every single day, every moment of your life, you will be thanking your life like I do. And that is all for today's video. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.